Hello, welcome. These are things that your mother never taught you, but I will. I'm here to step in and just kind of guide you through these certain topics. I'm going to talk about money. I'm going to talk about money/wealth and your health, love, self-love, boys, a bunch of these topics that I think need to be openly discussed in any community, and honestly, every single woman should have this knowledge and these insights. So let's get on to it. First thing is, your love was not meant to be earned, okay? When we are brought into this world as babies, as, newborns, we're given so much love. I mean, even random strangers come up to you, like if you're a baby, right? And they're like, oh, so cute, and they kind of coddle you and they're like, oh, so cute, and they walk away, right? Everyone loves babies. But what happens in that process when that baby turns into a toddler, then like a child, a teenager, and an adult? It's kind of loved less. In fact, you're kind of hated on as you're growing up, right? There's so many things that you undergo, and it's so completely different. It's like a shock to that baby because it's loved. When it cries, it gets fed, you're clothed, you're changed, you're taken care of, like so extremely well. You're loved just for being you as a baby. But as we get older, with the societal construct, right, and with everything that's all man-made, you're meant to meet these certain expectations by your parents, by society in general, by your school, by friends, by family members. There's so many things that you need to do, and it's kind of like you need to morph yourself into this version where it's just like you need to check off these certain boxes, like, oh, you need to do so well in this test, pass the class, you need to do this for your parents, do that, do this, do that, right? But a lot of us, we never feel like we're enough because there are certain things we must do to then feel worthy and feel loved, right? Which is not how it should be. You yourself as an individual deserve all the love in the world, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to achieve any accomplishments to be loved, to be successful. You yourself deserve to be loved right now in this exact moment. And I think this is something that you need to be aware of and realize, because for a lot of people, right, they live so long doing certain things, whether it's for their parents, whether it's to fit in society, or whether it's to whatever that may be. There's so many things, right? They do these certain things so that people can appreciate them. People can say, oh, wow, look at them, they're doing so well. Or like, oh, I'm so proud of my daughter or my son. When it's not really what they want, it's what they're doing to get that appreciation, to get that love that everyone truly deserves. And when you are someone, when you're an individual who decides to not kind of go on that default path that society has set for you, you're gonna be isolated, hated on, you're gonna be looked at weird, you're gonna be a failure in the beginning until you make it, and then everyone's like gonna 180 on you. But remember that the most important love is love that you get from yourself. Nothing is more bigger than that, because your life is through your lens and through how you interpret the world. So at the end of the day, you can view anything in any way that you want. That's how we're creators, right? Like, I could see something and someone could miss it entirely, right? Like, I can see flowers and see like how it represents beauty in my world. Someone can say, oh, that flower's so ugly, I don't like it. But they're both like, we're both viewing the same flower, right? It's just your interpretation of the world. I know this is kind of like philosophy deep. I don't know where this is going, but honestly, all I'm trying to say is that you right now, like, deserve the love. Without doing anything, without proving anything to anyone, you are loved. Just as how you were brought into this world, and the love that you got when you were a child, which most people do get. I know it's not the same circumstance for every single person, but a lot of us, right, we're so loved as babies, and then we grow up, and then it's like there's certain things you must do to meet certain expectations. You're always enough, just as you are, is the moral of my main message. You're enough, you're loved, you're doing amazing, and you're enough, okay? Second topic is on boys, okay? And I have a very unique perspective on this in terms of my life and how I'm 21 and I've never had any romantic involvement with anyone, okay? And I'm gonna just say this right here, 0 regrets on my end. I'm so content with my life. In fact, I love it so much. And I'm so happy that I spend this time in my early, years, in my early 20s, focusing and building on me. And I would recommend you and actually suggest you to do the same. But I do know everyone's story and everyone's life is completely different. So when it comes to guys, I really do think, and not just think, I know, right? I always say this in my videos, your thoughts create your reality. So however you view the world and yourself, when it comes to boys, this works also, right? This is the same thing. However you view men, however you view your life and love and whatever it is, that's how you're going to attract a lot of people, but that's how you're going to let someone in. So if you don't love yourself and don't respect yourself, there are going to be people, eyes on you, right? Guys that want to approach you that won't treat you with respect or won't love you completely or might even use you for wrong reasons. You're going to let them in. Attract them is one thing, but letting them in and allowing them to kind of just spend time with you and just be with you is going to ultimately drain your energy. So when it comes to relationships and when it comes to boys, make sure that you're in a good headspace. You don't have to be 100% completely whole, right? Personally, for me, maybe that's a flaw that I have. Maybe it's something I must work on myself, where it's like, I don't need to be perfect for a guy, but I truly think you need to at least have respect and love and know what you want and know what you deserve and know what a healthy relationship looks like. I would say go on YouTube, find older women, a lot older women, and see how, make sure that they have a romantic partner with them in their life and it's a healthy, beautiful relationship, and see what they say, see how they interact with each other. If you don't have access to anyone in your life that actually truly has a healthy relationship, go on YouTube. The internet is the most amazing thing right now and probably will always be as long as it's here, right? So use it for your advantage. And I can't give you advice on that because I don't have experience. I do that myself, where I take wisdom from older women when it comes to men and when it comes to love and life in so many areas, because that's what I aspire to be like when I'm older. So do that. All I can say is that work on yourself. That's my main message here when it comes to boys. I know not everyone's story is the same. You might have a childhood, a sweetheart, and then you can grow with them and whatnot. But for the most of us, really, truly work on yourself until you are loving yourself and you feel complete. Not entirely complete, but you feel good with yourself. I see a lot of women, when they get married, they tend to just give up their life calling or their life purpose because they tend to settle down. Truly think that should not be the way, because your passion, my passion at least, everyone's passion honestly, is my driving force in my life. It's the reason why I get up and I do these sorts of videos or do other things in my life. It's really what pulls me. And so I don't want to ever give this up, right? I don't ever want this to come to a halt. Actually, maybe slow down here and there, but I always want this to be something that I'm pursuing, because this gives me so much energy and so much joy, and it just makes me feel like I'm doing what I need to be doing in my life, and I think everyone deserves to have this feeling of, this is it for me, whether it's whatever it is. This could be a career, it could be something random, but just something where it's this is what I'm meant to be doing, or this is what I feel so good doing. I think every woman deserves that. So everyone truly deserves that. The third thing, okay, every single woman should aspire to be a multimillionaire. Okay, I will say this again. As a woman, aspire to be a multimillionaire. Now I know, multimillionaire, it's really big, but aim big. We're always told, growing up when we're younger, we want such big things. I wanted to be an astronaut. I still want to go to space. I always say this. I still want to go to space. Maybe you can ship me off when I'm older. I always wanted to do something big, grand. Every young kid, I feel like every little kid does. You can ask a 5-year-old and they'll be like, I want to be the president. Okay, great. But as we grow older again, it dies down because we're told to be this word I despise so much, which is realistic. We're told to be realistic. What even is realistic? What does that even mean? The word really irritates me, okay? And same thing here, when it comes to I want to be a multimillionaire, I tell this to my family, I tell this to people that are close with me, and they're like, okay, they look at me and they're like, all right, yeah, you can do it, but I feel like they can't really process that because it might be something really big, or it's something that's never been really done before, maybe in the community or whatnot. But the thing is, it's not unrealistic, okay? There's this book, I think it's called The Magic of Thinking Big or whatnot, and essentially when you think big, like let's say I want to be a billionaire, all right? I will work hard towards that goal and I'll probably be a millionaire, because you see how like billion and million, there's still a large gap. Like I'll get there, I'll get to the top, I'll make 6 figures or whatnot, right? Whereas if you're like, oh, I'll make like 2K a month, then you're gonna make it slowly over time, and then you're gonna be lazy and you're gonna be like, okay, I met my goal, blah, blah, blah. Have goals that are aspirational, have goals that are super duper big. And the reason why I say this, and the reason why I'm like, we should all be millionaires, is because being financially free as a woman is the most important thing you can ever do in your life. You never know what people will do in their lives. People change all the time. That's the truth. There's nothing is neutral. Nothing is stagnant in life. You're kind of improving or you're declining. That's how it works. We think it's neutral because, we kind of live in the day-to-day, but if you look back and truly analyze and look back at your life and maybe even your day, you'll realize, are you meeting the goals? You're doing the habits, or are you not? Decline or improve. So it comes to husbands, fathers, men also. You can't sit here and expect the guy to treat you the same way all the time. Some things are just out of your control in life, okay? That's just how it is. You can sit here and manifest and do all this, but at the end of the day, wouldn't it be amazing to have this support, to have this financial freedom, to have the ability, if you're treated wrong, to stand up and say no and leave? That is such a blessing. And it's not a fear thing. It's not like out of fear. It's out of respect for yourself, and it's out of living the best life for yourself and standing up and saying, I'm out, bye. Okay? And that is honestly money, financial freedom. Being financially free, which for me means being a millionaire, okay? It could be different for some people. It could be different, it's different for everyone. But at the end of the day, aspire to make a ton of money and meet those goals. Learn how to do content creation, start a business, start reading books. I would say literally right now, get yourself the book called Millionaire Fastlane. Get that book and let it rewire your mind. It really talks about being wealthy, okay? At the end of the day, it talks about being a millionaire. I'm also sweating my butt off, and my camera keeps saying storage full. Now my hair looks, essentially what I was saying was, just aim high. Wealth is important. Money is important. I'm going to say this all the time, and I'm not saying being money hungry, but allowing yourself to be financially free. This basically means not worrying about money, okay? Living your lifestyle, living your day-to-day life, doing whatever it is that you want, whenever you want, however you want, wherever you want, all that, the life. I love it. So yeah. Okay, this one is really, really important. And this is that you were born to think for yourself. You probably, the way you think and your thoughts are probably shaped by your parents, society, your friends, TikTok, school, okay? Ask yourself this. Have you actually ever thought about what you want and not cared about what anyone else has to say about that? And for me, I kind of entered this little isolation phase a couple months. I'm still kind of in it, essentially a little bit, but I entered in it because I realized that my thoughts were dictated by everyone else around me. I literally thought like the next person, and I wanted these goals because I was like, this is it. This is the path to success. Until I realized that I lost myself within that, And I didn't know what I wanted. I just thought this was what I should want. This is what I probably need to do to be successful. And I forgot my goals. I forgot I forgot my dreams. I forgot who I was. And I kind of deleted everything from my mind, and I emptied my mind. And then I started thinking about what kind of life I wanted to live. And from that, I reverse engineered and I started learning and listening to people like Dan Koh, Naval Ravikant, and a bunch of other people that I kind of am blanking on, but I started listening to very influential people, but not in a way where it's like celebrities or whatnot, but more so of thinkers and people that kind of thought for themselves and sought out knowledge on their own without really being influenced by society. And I think that's so inspiring, and I want to do that myself in my life. And I know I have a long way to go, but I'm still on that path and I'm working on it. But truly think for yourself. Ask yourself, what do I want Is this truly what I want? Forget these expectations that are set upon you. Be a failure. If it looks like a failure to everyone else, be a failure, okay? But ask yourself what it is that you want, okay? A lot of these limitations we set on ourselves. Like, so many of us are afraid of failure, okay? I was before I started doing YouTube and before I started doing my business. Like, I was so afraid of just not making it, or afraid of just being laughed upon, afraid of looking like a loser. I might be laughed upon. People might see me and be like, oh my gosh, it's that loser. But I don't care, because I learned from the first lesson, which is I love myself and I know what I'm doing is going to get me closer to my goal as long as I stick to it and as long as I'm consistent. And so I try my best to think for myself as much as I can. You don't have to follow the safe path. You don't have to do what the next person is doing. In fact, you shouldn't be, because if you want a life that is so different from everyone else, you must take different action, okay? If you want this life that is, I don't like the phrase 1%, but whatever, 1%, you must take that 1% action. And what does that action look like? I can't tell you, because I don't know what life you want. And so you need to sit down and journal and think for yourself. I promise you that is going to take you so far, and you can thank me later, but that is how you do it. That is literally how all the successful people have done it. They thought for themselves, because you might think, okay, let me just give you some math stuff. There are 8-point-something billion people in the world, okay? There are many, many people in this world. But this scientist, this mathematician, Ali Benazir, stated that the chance of us existing is 1 in 300 trillion. For you to exist. 1 in 300 trillion. So you're gonna tell me that your life, your DNA is gonna be looking like the same as the next person? You're supposed to be doing the same thing as everyone else? That's not it, okay? That's a lie, right? That's just everyone just saying the same thing as the next person. You have gifts of your own, okay? You have things that are so inherently unique to you. And before you say, wait, I don't know what it is, like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Yourself. You're the gift, okay? The way you perceive things, the way you go after things, the way that, like, your authentic self is the gift in itself. You have passions, don't you? Like, you have hobbies. You have things that you love to do. So build upon that, learn how to monetize that, start creating YouTube videos if you want to, literally start reading books on that certain topic, especially if you're after financial freedom, which I think every single person should be, okay? So it's a path, and it's honestly, like, it's gonna take years. I've realized. I thought, oh, it's gonna happen, but I realized to be a master at something and to really nail it on the head, it's gonna take you years. But that's fine, because I don't care if it takes me years. This is my life, my entire life. For as long as I live, I want to think this way and act this way and live this way. So I don't care how long it's gonna take me to achieve these certain goals. I'm going to achieve them as long as I'm consistent. And you too, okay? Lastly, I just want to end this off with saying that your mom and all the women before you didn't have the opportunities that you do right now, right? They tried their best and they used their teachings to give you all this knowledge and wisdom, and now it's really on you to learn and discover and grow and surround yourself with high achieving people. Surround yourself with people that allow you to not allow you, but people that encourage you to dream big and think big. And that's what I'm telling you right now. Nothing is delusional. You could tell me right now, look at me straight in the eye and tell me I'm gonna go fly to Jupiter, or not fly, I'm gonna go to Jupiter. I'll look at you and I'll say, yes, you can. I truly believe, like, you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to, okay? So I just want to end that off with, your moms, our mothers have tried their best. And honestly, they didn't have half of the resources and opportunities as we do now. I mean, my grandmother was married at 14. She was literally a child when she got married. And I mean, they have a great relationship. I love my grandparents, but it's just like now I'm 21 and I have so many things to do before I ever think of getting married in my life. And 2 generations ago, my grandma was married at 14, which is insane. So A lot of us have so many resources and so many opportunities, and we don't owe anyone anything. We don't need to do anything, but I think if you have certain goals and you have the opportunity and you have the privilege, please go after them and chase them. And I promise you, how you think and your thoughts, like if you watch this video and you're here till now and you're like, yes, this is so good, great advice, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. That's literally all I wanted this video to be. I want you to use this kind of as not just motivation, but more so as leverage, as, you know, more trust in your self-belief, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters the most. You're young women, and you have big things, big goals, big aspirations, and if nobody else does, I truly 100% believe in you, okay? Bye, love you.